Tonight, firework fallout.
It's a big shock to the system because you think, why is this happening? This should not be happening here.
The investigation in uptown Waterloo.
The individual did not sustain any injuries, and we were able to seize the firework for further processing to assist with the investigation.
And the safety message around the holiday long weekend. Also, Coyote concerns.
They come out of the bushes and then they see me and they walk back in. I always bring some type of stick or something to defend myself in case they attack me.
A Nobleton boy chased and attacked.
This is really scary because this is like a four-legged animal. It's aggressive, it may be hungry, who knows what's going on.
The frightening encounter and urge for caution. And a dream come true for a young hockey player.
He's just going to go out there and give it his all, and that's what he'll do when he goes to Nashville. He'll do the same thing there.
The community celebrations on an Elmira family farm after Brady Martin was drafted to the NHL.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here with us. Canada Day is tomorrow, and Waterloo Regional Police are hoping anyone celebrating does so safely. This comes after a lit firework was thrown at a person in Waterloo yesterday morning. With the ban of fireworks sales coming into the city the next year, CTV's Karis Mapp tells us authorities are hopeful it will limit this dangerous behavior.
Anytime something like this happens, it's a big shock to the system because you think, why is this happening? This should not be happening here.
Waterloo's Ward 7 councillor Julie Wright reacting to a firework being lit and thrown at someone in uptown Waterloo this weekend. A painful reminder from a year ago, almost to the day when she was the victim of a fireworks assault.
Last year on Canada Day, I was coming home from the drone show at Waterloo Park. There was an individual in the bushes in a schoolyard lighting off Roman candles, and when I stopped to talk to them, they shot me in the face with a firework.
Waterloo Regional Police arrested a man involved in that case, but are continuing to investigate Sunday's situation. Officers were called to the area of King Street South and Willis Way around 2:30 in the morning. Police say a firework was lit and thrown from a moving pickup truck at a person sitting on a bench.
The individual did not sustain any injuries, and we were able to seize the firework for further processing to assist with the investigation.
Shooting something off seems like a fun thing to do, and it is technically allowed on private property. And so that's one of those things where it expands into the public space, and that's when it becomes a public safety issue.
They can cause serious injury to both the user and to people in the area. So we're encouraging everyone who does choose to celebrate using fireworks to do so in a safe manner.
Mitigating the chance for dangerous use, the city of Waterloo and Kitchener both banning fireworks sales earlier this year, with the ban coming into effect in 2026.
The idea behind that is that it takes away some of that impulsive, I'm going to go out to the corner store, buy a bunch of Roman candles and set them off.
It definitely takes a multi-pronged approach to address the concerns of fireworks use in our community, so we're receptive to any sort of potential changes that could aid in making sure that these celebrations happen safely.
In both cities, fireworks are only allowed Tuesday night between 9 and 11. Sunday morning's fireworks situation is still being investigated. Police say the suspect was in the front passenger seat at the time wearing a white hat and black t-shirt. Anyone with information is being asked to contact police. Karis Mapp, CTV News, Waterloo.
There were cancellations along the Kitchener GO line today after someone was hit by a train. Metrolinx confirming the incident to CTV News. Emergency personnel were dealing with an incident near the Guelph GO station this morning. The trains to Union Station at 8:09 and 8:37 were canceled. Shuttle buses were brought in to help customers. Guelph police have not provided details on the crash at this time. A woman is facing charges after a crash at a Waterloo grocery store Saturday. Regional police say the vehicle slammed into the Food Basics in the Laurelwood Drive and Erbsville Road area around 2 p.m. The building was significantly damaged. The driver of a Toyota RAV4, a 58-year-old woman from Wellesley Township, has been charged with dangerous operation. The investigation is ongoing. All right, let's take our first check on the forecast. Tonight, CTV's Ashley Bacon live in studio with us. Bit of a roller coaster out there today, Ashley. We saw a little bit of sunshine to start the day, and we also saw some rain out there. Some areas actually under a tornado warning as well.
That's right, Leanne. You know, it was a bit of a mixed bag. Lots of active weather throughout the region. Before we get into our radar, let me just take a minute to tell you about that tornado warning. This afternoon, Environment Canada putting out the warning for Stratford, Mitchell, and southern Perth County. 10 minutes before 4, there are some reports of a possible touchdown near Lucan, but that has not been confirmed yet. We're keeping a close eye on that. That warning was quickly ended after a few minutes, but as we take a look at our radar, you can see there's still quite a bit of active weather continuing throughout the region. That will also continue throughout the evening and into tomorrow. Right now for Waterloo region, we're sitting at 24 degrees, very comfortable. However, with the humidity feeling closer to 34. So still very warm and, like I said, very active. I'll have more details, Leanne, about how much wet weather and possible thunderstorms we could see in the next 24 hours coming up shortly.
Okay, Ashley, thanks very much. A small town is on high alert after several close encounters with a coyote. A man was chased around cars in a driveway last Thursday. And separately, a 12-year-old attacked just yesterday. It happened in Nobleton, about 25 minutes north of Toronto, where the coyote comes far too close. The 12-year-old boy had to be treated for minor injuries to his legs after the attack yesterday afternoon. CTV's Mike Walker has the details.
He has 4, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. The coyote basically got a hold of his leg from this side.
12-year-old Rocco Mora is recovering at home with 4 puncture wounds to his left leg after he was bitten by a coyote.
I just feel 2 big teeth on the side of my leg.
Rocco was sitting on the curb outside his Nobleton home Sunday afternoon waiting for a friend to come over for his birthday party when he says the coyote seen in this neighbor's photo after the attack came out of nowhere.
And I just started running. The coyote kind of like chased me. But then when I was like on my front porch, he kind of like just started staring at me. And then when I got in the house, he ran away.
Came running, screaming inside the house saying, Mommy, I got bit by a coyote, I got bit by a coyote. And I started screaming.
He was treated in hospital for his injuries, plus rabies. His mom says coyotes are known to roam in Nobleton, but in the 14 years they've lived here, they have never heard of an attack like this.
It's not like it was provoked. He was just sitting there on his phone. They said he was very lucky. It could have been way worse. Had he have made himself smaller to the coyote, it would have been worse because then the coyote would have been less intimidated by him and probably mauled him more.
Recently, there have been multiple coyote sightings and close calls with residents and pets. In this home security video, a man can be seen running for safety from a coyote in his driveway. In another video, neighbors are seen holding golf clubs trying to scare a coyote away. Jyoti Kingra says her dog was attacked last week. Fortunately, the injuries were only minor.
This is really scary because this is like a 4-legged animal. It's aggressive, it may be hungry, who knows what's going on.
Dave Boyd is a local town councillor and says on Thursday a 17-year-old girl was also attacked but didn't require hospitalization.
At this time, we believe that there's only one coyote that has had the human interactions.
These incidents prompting the town to work with the Toronto Wildlife Centre and Vaughan Animal Services on a response plan.
This is a public safety concern at this point, so our plan is to locate and secure the animal to remove any threat to public safety.
As for Rocco and his family, it's a traumatizing experience.
When I'm walking, it kind of hurts, but I'll manage.
You know, the last thing I want is for him to be afraid to go outside and ride his bike or go outside and play with his friends.
He has more medical appointments and is expected to make a full recovery.
CTV's Mike Walker with that story. Okay, next, a labor dispute at the CN Tower. While attractions like the Edge Walk continue to operate, the people who work in the restaurant are out on the sidewalk. CTV's Beth McDonnell brings us the details on the labor dispute at our nation's tallest structure.
CUPE members joined CN Tower hospitality workers this afternoon who were chanting slogans instead of serving food and beverages to visitors. Canada Lands, the federal crown corporation operating the attraction, locked out 250 full and part-time employees after a deal was presented Thursday and talks broke down. causing a disruption at the start of Toronto's busy summer tourist season.
I think that stinks. I'm glad they're advocating for themselves. It's really sad.
Taking in spectacular views is not a problem, although its rotating dining room, 360 restaurant, and its kiosks, View Bistros, and Le Cafe are closed.
Visitors can still take the elevators up to the observation decks. The Edge Walk and shops remain open. During the labor dispute, guests can bring their own food and beverages.
Both sides have been negotiating since April. The union says many workers earn minimum wage, and the main issues are pensions, which have gone 15 years without improvements, along with wages and health and safety issues. Some of the key terms include annual wage increases of 3% in 2025 and 2026 and 2.5% in 2027, and improvements to our comprehensive employee benefits and pension protection. Unfortunately, the union chose not to respond, the company told CTV News in an email. But the union says things unfolded differently.
That's actually not true. So we were in bargaining all day on Thursday with the presence of a conciliation officer. The company in the end gave us a take it or leave it offer that the committee felt like they could not accept.
In its defense, the company says the union filed a request with the Ministry of Labour, triggering a countdown to allow a legal strike or lockout today, and adds if there was a strike, it wouldn't be able to serve customers with the same quality standards.
That's really disappointing. I mean, it's essential to get food and snacks. We didn't notice a big difference, and we had fun.
The company says it's open and ready to negotiate, and the union says it's happy to get back to the table, but there's no clear sign when that will be.
CTV's Beth McDonnell reporting. Okay, as mentioned, tomorrow is Canada Day. Preparations are underway throughout Waterloo region to mark the occasion. Thousands of people expected to gather at a few different events. CTV's Krista Simpson joins us live from downtown Kitchener, the site where one of those parties is going to be happening. Krista, what can we expect tomorrow?
Well, Leanne, there are road closures already in place, and setup is already underway for a day of free, family-friendly events here in downtown Kitchener. It starts at noon at the St. Louis main campus, which is just around the corner from City Hall. There will be a kids' play zone with rides, games, activities, and of course, food. And then at 4, the party starts in Carl Zayre Square with a series of artists taking the stage and performing. The headliner, Sloan, is scheduled for 9 o'clock. And then the grand finale, a pyrotechnics show, is at 10:30. So there's lots to do, and the city is preparing for big, patriotic crowds.
Canada Day has never been bigger. Everyone's ready to celebrate. Elbows up, go Canada. And tomorrow we're going to have 30 to 40,000 people behind us, in front of us. It'll be exciting. It'll be great. And everyone's here for one reason. Let's celebrate Canada.
Obviously, one of the big ones this year is going to be the new Kids Zone over at the St. Louis school site across the street. We have a citizenship court in partnership with the federal government and lots of great bands right up until the pyrotechnics show, with the highlight, of course, being Sloan. And I have so many people who are just excited to have them here in Kitchener for a free show for people of all ages.
As for other parts of the region, in Cambridge, the city is hosting this year's event at Riverside Park. It's being touted as the largest Canada Day celebration in Waterloo region. That starts with a fishing derby at 8 a.m., followed by a parade along King Street at 11, and there will be a midway and activities in Riverside Park throughout the day, ending with fireworks at 9:45. And in Waterloo, there will be a community picnic that will be held in Waterloo Park. It will feature food. It starts at 4. It'll also include a art market and performances in the band shell. And then it all culminates with a drone show at 10 p.m. So lots to do throughout the region wherever you find yourself tomorrow. We should note, though, at the site of all these events, there is no public parking. So if you're headed to one of them, you will want to walk, take public transit, ride your bike, or in Cambridge, use the free shuttle service that they are providing. Leanne.
Okay, so many activities going on right across Waterloo region. Krista, thanks so much. Some great info there for anyone heading out on Canada Day tomorrow. Okay, we have news from the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. After 9 years in blue and white, Mitch Marner is moving on. TSN reporting the star forward is being dealt to the Vegas Golden Knights in a sign and trade deal. The pending unrestricted free agent will earn an average of $12 million per season over 8 years. TSN says if the deal goes through, Toronto will get forward Nicholas Waugh in return. Marner had 27 goals and 102 points last season. The deal allows the Leafs to get something in exchange for the 28-year-old Thornhill native instead of seeing him leave for nothing. And some good news for a hometown boy, Steven Lorentz. The Waterloo product has re-signed with the Leafs, the 29-year-old signing a 3-year deal worth an average annual value of $1.35 million. And the Leafs also signing Matthew Nyes to an extension. TSN reporting the 22-year-old has agreed to a 6-year extension worth nearly $8 million per season. Nyes has been with the Leafs since the 2022-23 season. He racked up 58 points in 78 regular season games last year. And a reminder to start your day in the know with our CTV News Kitchener newsletter. Get the best local content from CTV News straight to your inbox. We've got today's top stories, the weather forecast, and must-see videos. It is all in one place. You can sign up for that now, ctvnewskitchener.ca. A big change could be coming to a small town. Still ahead, why a subdivision proposal in Sebringville has the community on edge.
I'm Alexandra Hollick. Also tonight, a Stratford artist plays the trump card. Why a painting inspired by a political movement is turning heads all around the world. That story is just ahead.
Showers will continue throughout the evening and into tomorrow, but how much wet weather and how long will it last? I'll have those details coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
Environment Canada meteorologists were tracking a severe thunderstorm that may have produced a tornado north of London today. This woman says the powerful winds tossed debris around on her farm.
It was almost like a freight train. And I thought, what is coming at this house? So I turned and looked south. I saw the funnel and I heard it, and all the debris, all the old tin, everything was flying in the air. So I screamed. My daughter's home today, and I said, oh my gosh, honey, there's a tornado. I'm in awe. Like, it hasn't really clicked that there's an actual tornado that we're watching.
CTV's Ashley Bacon will have more on that and the full forecast coming up a little bit later on in the show. Next, to the Stratford area, a proposed subdivision has Sebringville residents concerned and speaking out. CTV's Scott Miller has more on the development that would nearly double the hamlet's population.
Sally Green could be getting a whole lot of new neighbors, and she's far from excited about it.
It scares me, the size of it and the implications.
A 265-unit subdivision is being planned for a parcel of land off Station Road in Sebringville. Neighbors are concerned about the potential rapid arrival of that many new residents.
We're a small town, and we would be more than doubling in size.
Brady Green and several neighbors have joined forces to create Get Concerned Perth County to try and fight the subdivision. One of their biggest concerns is water, because there is no municipal water system in Sebringville, so communal wells will be dug for the new subdivision, and then water and wastewater pipes will be installed, but only for the new development.
Everyone here in Sebringville is on a well, so we're very concerned that the development of over 295 homes and all the water that those homes will need will have an effect on everybody else as well. Several wells in the town did see an effect when they did do their testing.
Get Concerned Perth County has asked the municipality for a hydrogeological study to determine if the communal wells and the subsequent water and wastewater infrastructure for the new subdivision will impact the rest of the community. A consultant's report recently concluded it would not, because the subdivision's well would be much deeper than anyone else's well in town.
We don't feel heard by anyone who is seemingly in favor of going ahead with the development, yet does not live here and live day to day the implications of this huge change.
Perth South Council has previously indicated they are excited about this proposed subdivision and believe it will not only increase their tax base, it could lead to more industry and stores for Sebringville.
We have been told it would attract new businesses. That may be, but can we do it more slowly?
All of the traffic from this area will be funneled into one road. Even though there are plans to upgrade that road to handle the traffic, we still have concerns.
In Sebringville, Scott Miller, CTV News.
A Stratford artist is putting her own spin on a political movement. Inspired by the No Kings protests in the United States, Carly Pierce painted a playful portrait of President Donald Trump that's been picked up here, south of the border, and even around the world. With more on this, we're joined by CTV's Alexandra Hollick. Alexandra, how did this painting come to be?
Well, Leanne, Pierce says she realizes the impact these protests have had beyond the U.S. and wants to use her talents to amplify the movement's message.
Yeah, there's definitely humor in it. And then there's the other side where people don't see the humor at all. They're actually really enraged by it.
Carly Pierce isn't afraid to play her hand or playfully paint a head of state. U.S. President Donald Trump decked out in royal digs, depicted as the court's jester.
I was seeing a lot of videos and photos from the No Kings protests going on in the States, and I wanted to somehow incorporate that slogan into a painting.
No kings! No kings! No kings!
The movement made waves south of the border earlier this month, with millions calling out Trump's authoritarian-like style of governance.
I think, in one way or another, we're all being affected by this.
So she decided to give it the royal treatment.
I was just thinking, no kings, what could I do? And I thought of a playing card of sort of a half king, half joker.
Pierce shared the painting's process on social media and came up trumps.
When I posted it, it started picking up on comments and shares, and it sort of did exceed what I thought would happen with it.
Supporters encouraging Pierce to send it to the man himself.
At first I laughed about it, and then I was like, wait a second, I can easily do that. That would actually be a really cool way of showing people that they can do something similar. Even if it seems small, it can be an act of resistance.
She's also listed her artwork online, with orders coming in from across the globe.
I've had people say they're putting it on banners for protests, on flags, yard signs, everything, T-shirts. I have people in Australia, UK, Germany.
As for whether she'll paint other political leaders, Pierce says she's not sure if it's in the cards.
I really want to just do what I feel intuitively that I want to do next, so we'll see. I'm not sure yet.
Pierce says her artwork is supposed to arrive at the White House today, but she doesn't expect to hear back from the president on what he thinks of the painting. Leanne?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see and maybe follow up with her. Alexandra, thanks so much. CTV's Alexandra Hollick. And as we head into another Canada Day holiday, it seems that this year it's different. The Canadian flag will be flown high after repeated threats in the last several months by the U.S. president to make Canada the 51st U.S. state. CTV's Corey Barrett has more.
Oh, Canada. For years, the world has viewed you in a certain light.
People are very kind, very tolerant.
Canadians are known for patience, understanding, and maybe being a little bit too polite.
Too polite? It seems we can thank U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs for that, not to mention all of that annexation talk.
Canada should honestly become our 51st state.
Elbows up, I say.
That expression, coined by Canadian comedian Mike Myers on Saturday Night Live, seems to capture the mood of the country. Suddenly, it's cooler than ever to be Canadian. And between poutine and the Canadian tuxedo, we've always been plenty cool. But this year, it's not just the elbows that are up.
The sense of being proud to be a Canadian was getting more muted.
The Environics Institute for Survey Research recently polled 1,600 Canadians on matters of national unity. It found we haven't been this cohesive since the pandemic.
Over the past few years, there was a 20-point drop in that strong feeling of national pride, right? It went from 73 to 53% over a few years. Up to 86% of Canadians will say they feel at least somewhat proud to be a Canadian. And there's been a boost in the proportion who feel very proud.
Here you go.
At the Toronto Zoo today, that pride was on full display. And with our neighbors to the south also celebrating a birthday this week, perhaps the message of this year's Canada Day is don't poke the polar bear.
I would say that I feel more Canadian this year. There's something about a common struggle that brings everyone together.
I am definitely feeling more patriotic this year. We've put a Canada flag up, which we've never done other than just Canada Day before.
So no matter how you plan to celebrate, keep in mind, we're all in this together.
Happy Canada Day.
Corey Baird, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, Canadian Pride will be on full display here in Waterloo Region tomorrow as well, especially from this location in downtown Kitchener. You can see setup is underway for the events taking place tomorrow. The main stage there right out front of City Hall. There's going to be so much on the go through the day tomorrow. I think many are hoping for sunshine. Ashley Bacon is back after the break to tell us if that will be the case or not. Also ahead. The Prime Minister taking a step back on tariffs to the U.S. Why Mark Carney says it's time to hit pause on the digital service tax. And Pierre Poilievre eyes his return to the House of Commons as a by-election gets called on Battle River, Alberta.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
All right, Canada Day is tomorrow. Ash,
Yes.
You got your Canada Day red on. I love
had
it.
to get in the vibe, right? Because
Yeah.
we're not going to be here tomorrow, so you had to get in the spirit of it all early.
Yeah, I missed the memo.
Well,
should have worn red with you.
Maybe on Wednesday.
Maybe. You can still wear red all week and celebrate
Absolutely.
Canada Day. Lots of festivities going on across the region.
Yes, and I'm sure everybody wants to know how much rain they can expect because, as you know, it's been a bit of a wild weather day throughout southwestern Ontario. If we take a look outside downtown Kitchener right now, you can see it's still feeling a bit damp at Gaukel Block. It is going to be damp for the next few hours still. And into tomorrow, we will continue to see some of that wet stuff. But good news is it's not supposed to last the full day. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you are enjoying your first day back after the weekend. Of course, many of you taking a long weekend for tomorrow as well. Even better news for you there. Let's take a look at our temperatures right now across the country. Starting in Vancouver, you can see it's 24 degrees, 25 in Calgary, 27 for Regina and Winnipeg. On the East Coast, 23 in St. John's, Halifax, 30 in Montreal. So very warm in Montreal at the moment. Closer to home, sitting at 24 in Kitchener-Waterloo. That's a little bit lower than our daytime high, which was 29 degrees. As we had an afternoon shower come through, the temperature started to drop a bit. This is the band of precipitation that continues to plague our region. A potential tornado, as we mentioned earlier in the show, potentially touching down near Lock-In, but we will have that confirmation whether or not it did happen as soon as we can. As we continue through our future cast, I just wanted to point out, tomorrow by 4 p.m., the wet stuff moves out of the region. So we might have a wet start to Canada Day, but it looks like we're going to end on a clear sky situation. As we get into the evening, those cloud cover continues to push out of the region. So bring your umbrella if you're headed out first thing in the morning, maybe some, a change of clothes because it might feel a little bit damp in the morning, and then it's going to feel much warmer once that rain dries up after 4 o'clock. We're only looking at about 7 millimeters of the wet stuff, so not a lot of rain overall, but just enough to, sort of dampen your plans, so to say. Our almanac, as I mentioned, our high was 29 degrees today, lower than our record of 33.7 back in 2018. Just 2 years earlier, our record low at 4.2. So a big swing in temperatures there. Sun setting at 9:07 p.m. So plenty of time to get out. And certainly for tomorrow, there'll be lots of daylight after that rain dries up at 4 o'clock. Overnight conditions similar to today. 30% chance of showers throughout the evening, only going down to 19. So it's still going to be a warm night ahead. 26 for your daytime high tomorrow, with those showers continuing. As we look at our 7-day forecast, a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of your work week, Waterloo region. Very summer-like conditions, a high of 28, 25, and 28. And then by the weekend, a 30. It's going to be a hot one. Now, as we move to Lambton, Kent, Essex, it's going to be even warmer there. You're looking at a 26-degree high for your Tuesday, Canada Day, 29 for Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, 30 and above. So it's going to be a toasty one come the end of the work week for you. In southern Georgian Bay, 26 for Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud for Thursday, and again, sunny conditions leading into your weekend. So overall, a not bad summer week ahead. Tomorrow, we're going to start wet, but hopefully it will wrap up by about 4 o'clock, just in time for the evening fireworks and, you know, barbecue dinner plans. Let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher picture. Missy getting into the Canada Day spirit. Thank you, Betty, for sending in this picture. What a perfect smile. Isn't she adorable? Ian?
Oh my goodness, that is so cute. I love that photo. What a cutie.
Oh, I love it. And getting into the spirit, I think, you know, Canadians are feeling extra patriotic, as we just heard in that last pack. You know, so I think it was a good one to represent.
Yeah,
for
even
Canada
the dogs
Day.
feeling patriotic this season. Yeah. Ashley, thanks so much.
Thanks, Leanne.
Well, a nasty heat wave is gripping parts of Europe, with temperatures in some countries climbing higher than 40 degrees Celsius.
Really hard currently because the temperatures are above 45 degrees.
A new record was set for June over the weekend. It was 46 degrees in southwestern Spain. That's near the border with Portugal. There's a number of red heat warnings across the continent in parts of Portugal, Italy, and Croatia. Meantime, amber heat alerts are in place in countries including the UK, Spain, France, and Austria. Pierre Poilievre can officially start the countdown to his next political race. The Conservative Party leader and former MP now knows the date of the upcoming Alberta by-election, where he will seek to make a return to the House of Commons. CTV's Colton Prale has those details.
It's been exactly 9 weeks since election night when Pierre Poilievre stood in this building and told his supporters he would never give up fighting for them. But 24 hours later, it was clear if he wanted to continue that fight, he'd need a new seat in the House of Commons. Now we know when he might get it. In the wake of his election win, Mark Carney promised no political games around by-elections that could return Pierre Poilievre to the House of Commons, and sooner than required under election law. Today, the Prime Minister announced the vote in the Alberta riding of Battle River-Crowfoot will take place Monday, August 18th. Before parliamentarians return to the House of Commons in September. The riding in southern Alberta on the border of Saskatchewan is a Conservative stronghold.
Well, he has to run somewhere, and of course this riding is probably the most secure riding.
The area we're in is very Conservative, so it's probably better that it stays that way.
Damien Currick held the riding since 2019 before resigning his position earlier this month to give Poilievre a chance to win. And the chance is strong. Currick won the riding with nearly 83% of the vote and more than 46,000 ballots ahead of the second-place Liberal candidate. CTV News reached out to the Liberal Party to see if they're planning on running a candidate in the upcoming by-election, but didn't receive a response by deadline. Even if Poilievre doesn't end up facing Liberal opposition, he could still face plenty of others. The group behind a protest that led to 91 candidates running in his Carleton riding last time around say they're planning for an even bigger slate of candidates in the upcoming Alberta by-election. Colton Prale, CTV News, Ottawa.
The city of Guelph welcomes a viral TikTok family. Still ahead, from Arkansas to the Royal City, the social media sensations arrive in town and are welcomed with open arms. We'll have the details coming up.
The This is your CTV Kitchener Our Community Calendar. Enjoy 3 days of free live music at the Sun Life Uptown Waterloo Jazz Festival featuring Monkey House, Travis Knights, Christine Jensen Quartet, and many more. We'll see you next time on Our Community.
Talks are now back on in the trade dispute between Canada and the U.S. That was confirmed by both sides today after Ottawa decided to drop the controversial digital services tax. CTV's Michael Couture reports.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says discussions between Canada and the U.S. restarted this morning after a call with President Donald Trump last night. But the way the Americans are framing it is very different.
It's very simple. Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved.
A blunt assessment of how it all played out from the White House. The two leaders spoke late last night, and then Canada announced it was rescinding the digital services tax. Carney said removing it was part of a bigger negotiation.
It doesn't make sense to collect tax from people and then remit them back. So it provides some certainty.
The DST was intended to collect tax from big tech companies that make money off Canadian users but don't pay Canadian taxes. Carney says the two sides will now work towards negotiating a full trade deal by July 21st.
The White House says you caved. Is that how it went down?
The Prime Minister wouldn't answer that, but the Canadian Chamber of Commerce applauds the move, pointing to the bigger picture negotiation.
$3.6 billion worth of trade crosses our border every single day with the United States. We can't afford to play with that. We need to make sure we secure that.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre believes Carney should have got something in return. Writing on X, in exchange, the Prime Minister should insist that the U.S. immediately rescind softwood lumber tariffs, adding, we need to make gains for our workers in these talks.
They forced the U.S.'s hand.
Michael Geist specializes in internet and e-commerce law. He says Canada needs smarter tech regulation than to just make web giants pay up.
We've too often looked at these companies as akin to almost like a policy ATM, where we're anxious to do withdrawals to help fund some of our policy objectives, but we haven't really factored in the costs associated with this and some of the potential negative consequences that might come about.
Now, rescinding the DST would require an act of Parliament, but the Prime Minister's office says instead of recalling the House, the government will simply stop collecting the tax until they can remove it altogether. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
A legal battle could be brewing against coffee giant Tim Hortons. A judge has authorized a class action lawsuit for Quebec residents only. It's over emails the company mistakenly sent to Roll Up the Rim participants last April, falsely saying they'd won a boat. A Montreal-based law firm claims some 500,000 Canadians were affected and should be awarded the boat or trailer they were told they'd won, plus damages. It says the prizes are worth around $64,000. Tim Hortons says it apologized to the customers last year and declined to comment further. The law firm has 3 months to file a formal lawsuit. It's unclear how many Quebec customers could take part. A dream come true for a small-town boy. The community celebrations in Elmira as Brady Martin hears his name called in the 2025 NHL Draft.
And what a story it is.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
This is your CTV Kitchener Our Community Calendar. The Afro Vibes Festival is a celebration of African culture at Carl's Air Square on July 19th. It's a full day of music, food, fun, and fashion. We'll see you next time on Our Community.
They've become a social media sensation. A family from Arkansas has taken a liking to the city of Guelph. The Beaver family has grown their online following while sharing videos of their plans to travel to the Royal City. As CTV's Hannah Schmidt tells us, this weekend they made that planned trip a reality.
I feel so at home here and so relaxed.
Meet the Beaver family from Fayetteville, Arkansas. The TikTok stars who sparked a digital buzz after asking ChatGPT a simple question. Which cities do you suggest we visit that are most similar to ours? The answer, Guelph, Ontario.
GPT said Guelph is the closest in nature to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Going to Guelph, I'm ready. I think they might speak French there.
With nearly 700,000 views and hundreds of friendly locals flooding the comments, the Beavers were invited to the Royal City.
We extended an invitation to the Beaver family, and we were happy that they could come up and meet us.
I think one of the most striking things for me that I've just noticed since today was really the amount of pride that you have in your community, that people in Guelph really love their community.
Originally scheduled to visit back in April, the trio touched down in Guelph on the Canada Day long weekend, and the community rolled out the red carpet.
Tell them a little bit about some of the agricultural roots of Guelph, the history of Guelph, as it pertains to food specifically, which is very rich and deep.
We honor it. We're sincerely honored and happy to see Beaver family here. And honestly, it's a big opportunity for our restaurant.
From downtown food tours to farm visits, markets, and maybe a few unexpected detours along the way, the Beavers got a true taste of what makes Guelph so beloved.
It's something that I feel like is also the case in our hometown. There is a lot of community engagement, although I would say, it seems even stronger here.
It's very important, too, to let people know that we are welcoming anybody with open arms to Guelph to come see all the unique things that Guelph has to offer.
Together in Guelph.
Yes. It's a TikTok tale turned travel dream, a story where social media meets small town charm and strangers become neighbors for a day.
I'm going to say go to Guelph. Everyone go.
I'm moving there if I can, and you should come with me.
Come on, I'm going to tell all my friends. You got to go to Guelph.
You got to go to Guelph.
Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Guelph.
Okay, let's check in with the national news team for a look at what's coming up later tonight.
Tonight, holiday travel plans up in the air.
Incredibly frustrating day for passengers, incredibly frustrating day for our partners, incredibly frustrating day for us.
The critical staffing shortage that has passengers in a pinch. We'll have that story and more later on CTV National News.
Well, there's a chance for showers throughout the morning and afternoon for your Canada Day, but it looks like it's shaping up to be a beautiful one after all. Stay with us. TV time for a perfect rainy night. 7 o'clock is E-Talk, followed by The Big Bang Theory at 7:30 and American Ninja Warrior at 8. Round out your night with Yes Chef at 10 p.m.
All right, one last check. Whoa, it's the end of the night on Monday and a long weekend for many too. One last check on the forecast for tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Ash Canada Day, lots of people wanting to spend time outside and celebrate, of course.
Well, the nice thing is Environment Canada was calling for a slight chance for showers, about 30% chance for showers in your morning. But now looking at the radar, it looks like we might even miss that afternoon shower I spoke about earlier. Still bring your umbrella just in case, but it is shaping up to be quite a warm and potentially humid Canada Day. So, have an umbrella for when it rains in the morning, and then make sure you have an extra water for when it gets hot in the afternoon, because it's going to be a long day. It's a fun, long day, and it will be a little bit of everything. So, it's one you might want to be prepared for.
Yeah, the fact that it's going to be 24 degrees by 10 a.m. Of course, many of those events starting around the noon hour, so it will be hot and humid out there.
And as we know, once it rains in the morning, if it does turn out to be a bit of a sunnier midday, then that evaporation will happen, creating more humidity.
All right,
so.
Prepare for it. Okay, finally for us, it is a dream come true for a small town athlete. Brady Martin heard his name called 5th overall in the 2025 NHL draft. And while the event was happening in Los Angeles, he heard his name called right here at home.
Love it. Martin took in one of the biggest moments of his life on his family's farm in Elmira, which transformed into a community celebration. CTV's Hannah Schmidt reports.
Predators in the 2025 NHL entry draft. Select from the Sault Ste. Marie Great.
Yes!
The screen may have been held up by a tractor, but this draft moment was anything but low-tech. Brady Martin watched his NHL dreams come true, surrounded by hay bales, friends, and family right here at home in Elmira.
I knew in my heart, and he knew, that he would be placed in the best spot for him.
But before the lights, cameras, and the draft stage, there were boots, barns, and backyard rinks.
That was his challenge for a couple summers, to just see how quickly he could scale that rope. So that was fun. Just, it's farm kid stuff.
Because for Brady, this dream didn't start in an arena. It started right here in the heart of Waterloo region.
We were not a hockey family. We weren't raised in hockey, and so it was kind of a new thing.
From a hard-working dairy farm family to the bright lights of a different kind of barn, playing for the Predators in Nashville.
He's just going to go out there and give it his all, and that's what he'll do when he goes to Nashville. He'll do the same thing there.
On draft night, Brady didn't walk the red carpet. He walked through his family home's yard to watch the big announcement, bringing his hometown community along for the ride.
It's not just a ploy to be different. It's who you are. We love showing people our community and our lifestyle because it is so important to us. And without it, we're nothing, right? This is what we do.
From face planting on the ice during his first skate to hearing his name called in Los Angeles, Cheryl says her son's story isn't just about making it. It's about remembering where you come from.
His brother's doesn't matter, you're drafted to the NHL, but chores still tomorrow morning, right? Everything is just, it's real here. My focus was to make my kids good human beings, and if they were good hockey players, that was just the bonus.
Brady isn't the only local standout heading to the big leagues. To see which other athletes got the call, you can head to our website at kitchener.ctvnews.ca. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Elmira.
What an incredible story.
Oh, man.
Congratulations, Brady Martin, the entire family, and the community of Elmira as well.
I know Waterloo Region's very proud of you, man, and we can't wait to watch your entire career unfold. So
Great stuff. All right, that's it for us. Have a great night. Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada
Celebrate
Day.
safely.